Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm bringing you a review for the new Marvel Legends figure, Rintrah Wave Master Mordo from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Master Mordo, or alternatively known as Carl Mordo or just Mordo, is a returning character from the first Doctor Strange movie, where he served as more of a friend and confidant and even mentor to Doctor Strange. But as we saw toward the very end of the movie, took on more of a villainous streak when he believed that sorcerers, shouldn't really exist, save for a select few. So we don't know too much about his role in this upcoming movie, though at the very least we can see that he's really grown his hair out, and that includes some facial hair. Now I can't even say for sure if the Mordo that we've seen in the trailer so far is the one from the same universe that our main Doctor Strange is from. We'll just have to watch it and find out. But I do gotta say, he looks pretty cool. That being said, if you've seen my reviews before, you know this goes. We're going to take a look at Mordo's packaging, then we'll open it up, we'll get a quick look at his Build-A-Figure pieces, and then we'll see Mordo himself. I'll check out his posability, his accessories, all that. I'll throw in a group shot or two with some of his wave mates, and then at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So Mordo comes in your standard Marvel Legends packaging. You get his Build-A-Figure call out right up here, you get his name, the movie logo, and then front and center, you get Master Mordo. You can see his Build-A-Figure pieces off to the left. He's got 4 different alternate hands. He has some open hands that he comes with that I don't know if they're just there for like dramatic flair or if he's supposed to be casting a spell maybe with that one hand, I'm not sure. And then he has what looks like 2 closed fists and 2 weapon wielding hands. Speaking of weapons, he comes with a crossbow and something I'm not entirely sure if that's supposed to be just a staff or something. I can't really see down in there to see if there's like a axe head or something on the end of that, but we'll figure it out once we get this guy open. On the sides, you see a really nice render of Mordo, looking very powerful and very sure of himself, though almost a little sullen, like he doesn't want to do what he has to do. I don't know. Then on the back, you get, more of a full shot of that render. You get his name, and then you get flavor text, which says, Mordo has gone rogue since leaving Camartage, hunting other sorcerers for breaking the laws of reality, and is never far off the trail of Doctor Strange. Now, if this description is accurate to his motivations in this new movie, it does seem to be a little bit of a retcon, because it seemed that his motivation for going after sorcerers in the first place was a consolidation of power. He believed that it was irresponsible to have too many sorcerers out there, and, really only select few that he felt he could trust, which is rather elitist, I must say, were, going to be allowed to wield that. That's why he went and, stole magic from a guy that was merely using it just so he could actually walk. So initially, he didn't say anything about breaking the laws of reality. That seems like something that's either his motivations have evolved or it's just a slight retcon they're doing to help tie into, why he'd be going after Doctor Strange in this movie. So I'll be interested to see, what happens there. Then on the bottom bit of this packaging, we can see the Build-A-Figure Rintrah, as well as the entire wave here. So you get Doctor Strange, Wong, and America Chavez, who we just reviewed. You get Mordo himself, then you get an astral projection version of Doctor Strange, and then the comic book characters Despair and Sleepwalker. So pretty cool, pretty interesting wave. Again, being based around this new movie, most of it is going to be characters from that movie. I know some people, I got a comment on my Doctor Strange review that, some people aren't interested in the MCU Marvel Legends figures. They only want like the comic book ones, and I totally get that. I actually initially kind of had that same reaction when I first saw Legends doing like MCU-based characters. I'm like, oh no, man, forget that. Because usually movie merchandise is almost like a blight on toy lines, right? Good example, the G.I. Joe classified toys. Hugely popular amongst G.I. Joe fans. It's not popular though? That wave based around the Snake Eyes movie. Most people don't want it. Now in that case, it could be because the movie's not very good. But, look back, way back at something like Spawn. Remember the Spawn franchise? Really, really cool figures, and then they made toys that were based, specifically around that live-action movie, and they really weren't as popular. So I do get that aversion. However, I'm also a very big fan of the MCU for the most part. It's not perfect, not every movie's a home run in my opinion, but I think even the worst movies are at least, okay, they're decent. So I do think Marvel Studios have proven themselves to the point where I don't mind, them throwing in MCU-based characters in this Legends series, because I don't mind getting plastic versions of those characters. Plus, they do a really good job, at least here, recently, of really capturing the likeness of the actors in plastic, so I dig that. Now we get to see Mordo out of the package with his accessories, and I gotta say, he looks really cool. Before I get into him, let's go ahead and check out his Build-A-Figure accessory. This is the right arm of Rintrah, with both an open hand and a closed fist, so very cool there. And then, of course, Mordo's accessories are his crossbow, 2 extra sets of hands, and this, I can't believe I didn't recognize it in the package. I thought for sure it was like an axe or a mace or something, like there was a head on the end of it. This is the Staff of the Living Tribunal that we saw back in the first Doctor Strange movie, that's able to basically kind of shapeshift and become either like a longer staff, a flail. It's just kind of a multi-purpose sorcerer's like training tool or weapon. So it would be fitting that Mordo has this because he's the one that, introduced Strange and the audience to it. Now, Mordo himself, like I said, looks really cool. His outfit is just very impressive looking. It's multi-layered, painted very nicely. Of course, the texture on it is really, really nice. Looks like actual fabric. I like how it's, different on one side than the other. And I love how his little kind of robe tassels here on the bottom are, looking as if they're blowing in the wind, right? They're just hanging straight down. It gives him this very nice cinematic look. And I love the braids, too. I love the way that he has some that just kind of, droops over his shoulder on one end, and then the rest just kind of tuck in the back. And luckily, they don't get in the way of the posability too badly. You may have to kind of lift these braids up a little bit so they don't get stuck, but he can look around very well. He's got good head posability. He's got universal shoulders. He, shockingly, only has single bend elbows, and then this one's actually also pretty tight. Kind of worrisome to me. I was not expecting that. They do at least get a pretty deep bend in them, but one thing I'm learning very quickly as I mess with my first wave of Legends figures is there really is no universal or standard articulation. They just do whatever, right? Because we saw Strange and Wong, and they had their double jointed elbows. And then we saw America Chavez, and she didn't, but I assume that's just because, she had smaller arms or something. But Mordo, I guess it just really goes for, aesthetic and working with whatever the, outfit or the shape of the arm is, because he's only got the single bend. At least they do bend better than America Chavez's. He's also got that rotation at the elbow, universal wrists. He has the ball-jointed torso, which enables him to do a full, 360 turn, as well as wobble around, lean forward and back. And then unlike America Chavez, it's actually, kind of at his waist instead of being up here. So you do get some much better bends in the torso because of that. His hips are universal, and they're not really impeded by his robe at all because of that tasseling where you have, room for these things to move around. His longer, jacket part kind of gets in the way a little bit, but still pretty good. He's got the thigh swivel. He does have double bend knees, which is nice. He has a boot swivel, like a Mudu figure. And then he's got your ankle rock, ankle tilt, and ankle rotation. So pretty decked out aside from the elbows, and again, looks phenomenal. Look at that face printing. So they even printed his scars that you saw in the renders for the second movie. Now, I don't think he had scars in the first movie. I could be wrong. I think they're new for this redesign here. But they do, emulate those pretty well. They're not physically raised up, but they are painted well. And I love the hair, dude. The braids are just really, really well done. The beard. I like the look. I like how he grew his hair out and grew his facial hair out. I think he looks way cooler and much more, I guess, just sorcerer-like. Now, one thing that's cool is I think his little outer robe or jacket can actually come off. America Chavez's could too, but it would have looked weird because she would have had denim sleeves and then the rest of her shirt being a t-shirt. So let's see. Are these arms even meant to come off? Kind of scared to pull them off. You know what? I really don't want to deal with the tragedy of accidentally breaking this, so I'm sorry, guys, I'm not showing you that. But I think in theory you can probably pop his arms and head off and get the robe off. Maybe. I don't know. I know that was a key feature of the Moira McTaggart toy that came out not long ago. How you could pull her lab coat and all that off. Maybe she was designed differently. I always assumed you could pop these guys' arms off, but maybe not. And I'm really honestly kind of scared to try it without knowing for sure. But one thing I will pop off is his hands, because we got to look at these alternate hands. So I'll take his open hands away. Also, I just want to point out how cool these are. So you have like a standard one, but then you have this one. This is cool. Like he's casting a spell, or he's just reaching out for something. That's a cool hand. All right, but we're going to take away Mr. Cool Hand. Again. There we go. Get a fist in there. Like the other fist on here. Seems to be pretty standard. You have open hands, fists, and then sometimes weapon-wielding hands if, you know, the situation calls for it. Seems to just be kind of the Legends formula there. Move your elbow a little bit more, buddy. There you go. Look more dynamic. So you can have him look like he's maybe really angry or yelling at Strange or something. Or we can go ahead and do the weapon-wielding hand so we can actually hold his accessories. So you get one here. Oh, those are a much looser fit than the others. Huh, weird. The other one like that? Yeah, it kind of is. That's weird. I don't know why these are looser. Alright, so you can put the... Uh-oh. That came off. I guess it just kind of slides right out, huh? Interesting. Alright, yeah, it just kind of slides in there. Not a big deal. Let's try this again. It is delicate, so definitely be careful. I'm trying to push it in past his fingers here. There you go. So you get him holding it something like that. And then your tribunal staff here, living tribunal staff, you just have him holding this hand. That's a little thin in the middle part, but his fingers are curled enough to where he still kind of holds it just fine. So you can have him, you know, wielding some weapons now and looking like he's a little more ready for more standard combat. I'm not sure the significance of the crossbow. I don't know, did he have one in the first movie? I don't remember having a crossbow. Maybe it's a comic thing, or maybe it's just new for the second movie. I'm not sure. But yeah, they work. He looks ready to throw down with an enemy or his old buddy Doctor Strange. Whatever you prefer to do with your toy. Now here's a shot of Mordo facing down his one-time friend and mentee, Doctor Strange. And one thing I really like about the MCU Master Mordo more than the comic book one, I think his design is way cooler, like his outfit is just awesome. But also, I like that he's more than just a cookie-cutter villain, right? He's not just like, I'm evil because I'm evil. Like, he is a friend who has since parted ways with our hero here and honestly believes that what he's doing is right. And you can honestly see it in the teasers that have been released for the new movie so far, where, you know, that whole I'm sorry, Steven. Like, he looks truly, you know, sorrowful and apologetic. Like, he hates to do this, but he sees Stephen Strange as a threat. So, you know, he's really more of like the misguided friend turned antagonist archetype than he is just evil foil to the hero. So I like that. I like when those relationships between your good guys, bad guys, or, you know, I guess less simple, your protagonist and antagonist, are more deep than just one's good, one's evil, you know? And I like that. I like it's like kind of conflicting ideologies that lead to these two, you know, presumably coming to blows during the course of the movie. Because they never actually fight each other in the first one. You don't find out about Mordo's kind of heel turn until, like, the post-credits. So, yeah, really interesting to see something like this play out when the new movie comes out. And this completes our look at the new Marvel Legends Master Mordo. I think this may be my favorite figure in the wave so far, just based purely on coolness factor. I think he has such a really, really nice design. I don't know if he's necessarily the best figure as far as, you know, engineering and all that goes, because again, you know, he does lack certain things that some other figures in the wave have. But he looks so good. He looks super, super cool. I mean, Doctor Strange and Wong also look cool in their own right, but there's just something about him. Maybe it's the colors that, you know, are doing it. I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan, and he has very Link-like colors in his outfit. Maybe that's, you know, it's just something that I'm kind of partial to, who knows. But I still think he's really cool. I like the way they did his hair, where he's got, you know, some of it draping over here, some of it in the back, and you can still move his head around without it getting in the way, unlike, say, America Chavez, whose hair just completely limits her head articulation. And I like, you know, the kind of the deep cut weapon here, the staff of the Living Tribunal. I say deep cut, but it'll maybe, factor into the sequel movie. I'm not sure if it's just an Easter egg from the first one or if he's going to use it again. I still don't know where the crossbow's from. Maybe it's a movie-only thing. Maybe it's a comic-only thing. But overall, yeah, I think he's really, really cool. Maybe not as flashy. He doesn't have the shield spell hands, which I'm kind of surprised he doesn't, because his artwork has him using it, so you think maybe he'd include at least one. But I guess, between all the weapons and the extra hands that he has, it just wasn't really in the budget, maybe. So yeah, I think he's really cool. Great layering on the outfit, really good face sculpt, great attention to detail with the scars on the forehead, and I very much enjoy him, and I personally highly recommend picking him up if you have any interest in MCU-based figures. Of course, that is just my take on Mordo, so now I want to know what you all think of him. Is this a toy that you want to get, either because you think the toy is cool, or you really like the character, or maybe you're just a completionist and you want to collect the whole Build-A-Figure? Or do you not want this for some reason? Like, maybe you didn't like his design, maybe you don't like MCU stuff. Any and all feedback's always welcome in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this look at the new Marvel Legends Rintrah Wave Master Mordo. And with all that said, I will see you next time.